In the opening scene, a lady is speaking on a podcast. Her name is Agatha, and she is the heroine of this film. Every week, she hosts a show called Unsolved Crimes, where she tells crime stories and solves them. A courier arrives for her with an invitation inside, and upon seeing it, the heroine shows a shocked expression. From now on, it will be known how deadly this invitation is. In the next scene, the heroine is going to Mexico. Her half-sister sent the invitation. Her name is Olivia. The heroine and Olivia have not met for several years, and now the heroine feels nervous about meeting Olivia. Nevertheless, she decides to go after considering the invitation. Then, the heroine's friend calls her and says that her sister needs her. The friend suggests that they should create a bonding experience during this meeting and tells her to get ready with a fountain pen and a clock, though it's unclear why they need them. In the next scene, the heroine arrives at Olivia's bungalow, which is located by the seaside. Someone receives her there. His name is Munoz, and he is Olivia's husband. However, it seems that Olivia and her husband are separated now. The husband mentions that he last saw the heroine at a funeral 5 years ago, but it's unclear whose funeral that was. The heroine asks why Olivia invited her, and it seems that even the husband doesn't know. He thinks it might be a personal emergency. He mentions that many guests are still arriving for this party. Then, he receives a call related to the hospital and answers it by saying, "Hello, Governor." At that moment, a servant brings violet-colored flowers to the entrance of the bungalow. Seeing this, the heroine enters the bungalow. Inside, she sees a small photo of a girl and takes out a clock and pen from her bag to place them outside. Just then, she hears two people talking and goes outside to see what's happening. On the porch, her husband is speaking with another lady. He mentions that he needs to go to the hospital regarding something related to the call he received. However, that lady insists that he cannot leave Olivia alone. The heroine overhears this conversation but doesn't fully understand what's going on. Then she hears a loud noise coming from somewhere below. It seems to be related to something falling down. The person making that noise is named Fig. He is a doctor. The doctor might also be someone who knows about Olivia and Agatha's podcast. However, it remains unclear why Olivia invited them all. It seems everyone present knows something about it. Someone is talking to someone on the phone next door, so the heroine is going there. His name is Carrie, and he is a TV series actor. He also knows about the podcast where he plays the heroine. They might be telling him it's Olivia. The actor and heroine are coming together to drink the welcome drink. There is a lady there. Her name is Sonia, and she is also with her boyfriend, whose name is Naram. He is a yoga teacher. So now, who all are invited by Olivia? The heroine, husband, doctor, actor, Sonia, and the yoga teacher are all waiting for Olivia. Then the housekeeping lady comes there and brings a message from Olivia. Olivia must have invited them all out of eagerness to see everyone. Olivia sends a message about meeting for dinner on the ship. That ship was the last gift given by her husband to Olivia. They tell all the guests to be ready as they will sleep on the ship tonight. The housekeeping lady says she will tell who is in which room. Olivia refers to her bungalow as Elise's house. She asks the yoga teacher and doctor about that. What was previously called Munoz's house before this bungalow? What does the doctor say? It's Elise's. Olivia and her husband sent their daughter's name too. That girl passed away in a car accident 5 years ago. It seems like Olivia referred to that bungalow as Elise's in memory of her. Olivia came here last for that funeral. Now the heroine goes to Elise's grave and says, "I miss you." In the next scene, the heroine is in her room. Then the housekeeping lady brings tea to the heroine. The housekeeping lady says that Olivia really misses the heroine. Then a servant comes in and places the heroine's things in the room. This servant has one eye that doesn't work well. The husband brought him here from the hospital. Saying this, the housekeeping lady leaves. The heroine goes to take a bag that is in another room. Then Sonia and the yoga teacher are also in the bathroom. The heroine quietly takes her things and comes out. In the next scene, all the guests leave the bungalow and go to where the boat is docked. Dinner will happen on that ship. Olivia welcomes everyone and thanks them for coming after sending out invitations, telling them how important it is for them to come tonight. When the servant brings drinks, he stumbles, causing all the glasses to fall. Olivia says it's okay, but her husband gets angry and insists he has to pay for all this, seeming to think money is important. Only the servant gets off from the ship and goes back to the bungalow as the ship starts moving now. The next scene begins with all the guests starting to have dinner. Olivia mentions that it's time to understand the situation. She realizes that the heroine is recording everything with her camera and removes her glasses. Olivia tells everyone that there is a surprise for them, reminding them that they don't know when their last day will be. She expresses her fear that after tonight, one of them might return to their home. Olivia reflects on her playful nature, asking if this is part of their games, which makes the actor laugh. However, Olivia insists seriously that there are sufficient reasons for everyone to be present together. Olivia questions who will be the one to take action, as she feels uncertain about it. She explains that she's saying this because the girl who had been with her has passed away. Now, everything Olivia says seems to be directed towards the heroine. Some people might not like that, especially since Sonia's boyfriend was initially Olivia's husband. This creates tension as Sonia might feel resentment towards Olivia. The yoga teacher, who is Sonia's boyfriend, could also be seen as a rival for Olivia. The actor and Olivia are ex-lovers. There seems to be an ongoing case against the actor due to a previous incident involving a gun during a shoot. Olivia's husband has borrowed a lot of money from lawyers because of this situation. The actor could also be seen as a threat to Olivia's husband. The doctor husband has been working at a hospital but has suddenly quit, and only Olivia knows the reason behind it. There's a fear that if the doctor reveals the truth, it could lead to complications for her husband. With so many possibilities for conflict tonight, Olivia decides she needs to ask everyone whom they want to forgive and say goodbye to. As Olivia speaks, all the guests appear confused and wonder why she is acting this way. The heroine goes to meet Olivia privately in her cabin and asks what is happening. Olivia tries to lighten the mood by saying it's all in good fun. The heroine mentions that she has also been with Olivia's daughter before, but it seems like Olivia doesn't want that connection anymore. This might be why the heroine has been present all along. In her younger days, Olivia had a tattoo of a drawing on her hand, symbolizing her bond with her half-sister. Despite being half-sisters, they both share a deep affection for each other. In the next scene, the heroine is standing alone on the ship when she hears two people talking. Upon looking, she sees her husband and Sonia. Before marrying Olivia, her husband had been Sonia's boyfriend and had invested in the perfume company that Sonia was starting. However, after marrying Olivia, it seems he decided not to invest in her company. They are now discussing this with Sonia's husband, which makes the heroine stop listening to their conversation. In the following scene, the heroine is sleeping in her cabin when she hears a noise outside. She goes outside to check and sees Olivia falling from the top deck of the ship. The doctor checks on Olivia and mentions that she has fallen. It is unclear whether she was pushed or fell by accident. The husband tells the captain of the ship to inform the police via radio. The next day, as the ship approaches the shore, they notice that there is no cell tower nearby, meaning there will be no signal here anymore. The police department recovers Olivia's body, but there is confusion about who will handle the investigation since this incident occurred between two towns at sea. A police officer arrives to start the investigation, but he advises that no one should leave until they have spoken to everyone involved. Olivia's husband claims to be the owner of a large hospital, but during questioning, the police cut him off. Everyone goes back into the bungalow while the police take Olivia's body back to the city, leaving only an assistant behind. The heroine speaks with this assistant and warns that her sister should not return home alone. The assistant asks how that could happen. Everyone had received invitations for this gathering, so they wonder how such an incident could occur. The heroine insists that they took it seriously when Olivia warned them. The assistant guesses correctly that you are doing a podcast show based on what he hears in the heroine's voice. While in a police car, the heroine discusses unsolved crime stories. Her husband then comes and suggests they all go for coffee together. He mentions that Olivia had been in depression before this incident occurred. The assistant asks how Olivia fell into depression. The husband reveals that the girl had an accident 5 years ago. The heroine inquires about the reasons for Olivia and her husband's divorce. After the girl's death, Olivia was emotionally shattered, and despite her husband's efforts to bring her back to normalcy, he eventually left her life and started anew with another woman in the city. The heroine suspects that her husband might have tried to reconnect with Olivia but failed, leading to doubts about his loyalty. While the heroine is observing this, she hears a gunshot during an argument between her husband and herself. When they look around, they see the yoga teacher nearby. It is suggested that someone shot at them while in the bathroom. The heroine notices a smell of gunpowder and opens a cupboard to investigate, discovering a secret passage inside. Her husband mentions that there are many secret tunnels in the bungalow, and she decides to enter the passage. The assistant follows her into the passage, where they find a door leading to a secret room. They check the room but find no one inside. Given the heroine's experience in solving crime stories, the assistant offers to help her with this case, hoping that solving it will earn him a promotion to detective. The heroine asks for his help because she feels that she has a gut feeling about this case. Both decide to investigate together, and while in the room, the heroine catches a whiff of soap. They exit from the cupboard and inform the guests that if they cooperate with their investigation, they can leave once the police arrive. The assistant suggests starting with the servant for their investigation. They learn that the servant had thrown a glass overboard while on the ship and returned home to rest. The servant mentions that he worked for Olivia's husband 5 years ago and had been at a construction site 10 years ago when something happened that he cannot clearly recall. He also notes that he was instructed to bring violet flowers before guests arrived at the bungalow, as Olivia had requested. The heroine takes notes on everything the servant says. Once their investigation is complete with him, she asks for help from her assistant to make a call. She believes that if they help her solve this case, they will be able to gather more information on everyone involved: Sonia, the yoga teacher, actor, doctor, husband, and servant. The heroine concludes that there must be a reason behind Olivia inviting them all together and decides to uncover it. In the next scene, all the guests are relaxing in the bungalow, unable to leave. The heroine and her assistant bring food for everyone, but the assistant is concerned about the heroine going outside alone. He requests everyone to be ready to leave quickly. When asked where everyone was during the gunshot, it is revealed that Sonia was in the bathroom and the actor was in his room. The guests realize that there were guns displayed by the housekeeping lady, which belonged to the husband's grandfather and were cleaned regularly, except for one gun that went missing. The assistant notes that if there is a gun present, everyone is in danger and suggests they find a safe place. The doctor, while retrieving his bag, accidentally drops some items, including morphine, which he explains is a painkiller that should be prepared properly. In the following scene, the heroine addresses the guests and points out that no one is supposed to harm anyone else. She mentions that this is a game Olivia started, and they need to solve it before time runs out. The heroine indicates that Olivia must have left a message with the violet flowers placed at the entrance of the bungalow. The actor explains that violet symbolizes power and ambition in Western culture but represents love, justice, forgiveness, and freedom in Asian culture. He suggests that Olivia's game might be more than just entertainment, it could be a message about these values. The heroine believes they need to uncover this truth before the police arrive from the city to start their investigation. She first questions the actor about what he heard last night on the ship. He mentions practicing for a police role in a Hollywood film when he heard noises from above. They decide to return to Olivia's room to investigate further. Next, the heroine questions the yoga teacher about where he was during the incident. He reveals he is from Mexico City but has been in India for 6 years. He admits that he started developing feelings for Sonia during yoga classes but has no identification on him. The heroine finds it suspicious how he could have traveled without ID. She then turns her attention back to her husband and asks what they discussed on the ship regarding Sonia. The husband claims they were discussing investments in Sonia's perfume company, but when asked if he had any objections, he says no. This raises suspicion with the heroine as she realizes Sonia feels overlooked despite asking for help from everyone to start her business. As they continue their investigation, they hear a noise from the bathroom where Sonia and the yoga teacher were meditating together. Sonia expresses concern about someone being shot with a bullet from a yoga teacher's gun. When asked who would target them, Sonia seems unsure and suggests they need to figure out who might have been involved. The actor insists on speaking privately with the heroine and turns off his recorder while offering to help her investigate Olivia's case. Further, in the next scene, while the heroine is in her room, she smells soap coming from the secret room. Suddenly, she hears a noise and looks out the window, noticing some light from Olivia's cabin on the ship. The heroine decides to head to the ship with the servant's help. Upon arrival, they find that the doctor is searching for something in Olivia's cabin. When the heroine asks what he is doing, the doctor explains that he is helping with the investigation. The heroine playfully asks if they are both detectives now. Inside Olivia's room, the heroine notices several medicine bottles next to Olivia's bed, indicating that she might have had health issues that were unknown to her. The doctor mentions that he had been instructed to keep this information from everyone. The heroine then discovers a file in the table drawer containing multiple death certificates for babies born during childbirth. The doctor is puzzled about how these documents ended up there. As the assistant arrives, he expresses concern about their presence in the cabin without permission, but they all agree that they need to solve the case quickly. The assistant feels frustrated with the situation and takes it out on the heroine. In a subsequent scene, the heroine calls a friend and discusses the servant's background check. She learns that he really did lose an eye at a construction site, which was actually at her husband's hospital construction site. It is revealed that both Olivia and her husband had arranged for an eye transplant for the servant. The heroine shares with her friend the names of the babies listed on the death certificates and discusses their tragic stories. While talking, she notices a magazine with a photo of the governor and his wife on the front page. The magazine states that they are expecting a child, which sparks an idea in the heroine's mind. She immediately asks her friend for more information about them and requests a photo of both individuals. As they continue their conversation, her friend mentions that there is no signal on her phone, which frustrates her. The heroine realizes that she needs to gather more details about everyone involved in this case: Sonia, the yoga teacher, actor, doctor, husband, and servant. She concludes that there must be a significant reason why Olivia invited them all together and is determined to uncover it. In the next scene, while the heroine is in her room, she smells soap coming from the secret room. Suddenly, she hears a noise and notices some light from Olivia's cabin on the ship. This prompts her to go to the ship with the servant's help. Upon arriving, they see the doctor searching for something in Olivia's cabin. When the heroine asks what he is doing, the doctor explains that he is assisting with the investigation. The heroine playfully asks if they are both detectives now. Inside Olivia's room, the heroine notices several medicine bottles next to Olivia's bed, indicating that she might have had health issues that were unknown to her. The doctor mentions that he had been instructed to keep this information from everyone. The heroine then discovers a file in the table drawer containing multiple death certificates for babies born during childbirth. The doctor is puzzled about how these documents ended up there. As the assistant arrives, he expresses concern about their presence in the cabin without permission, but they all agree that they need to solve the case quickly. The assistant feels frustrated with the situation and takes it out on the heroine. In a subsequent scene, the heroine calls a friend and discusses the servant's background check. She learns that he really did lose an eye at a construction site, which was actually at her husband's hospital construction site. It is revealed that both Olivia and her husband had arranged for an eye transplant for the servant. The heroine shares with her friend the names of the babies listed on the death certificates and discusses their tragic stories. While talking, she notices a magazine with a photo of the governor and his wife on the front page. The magazine states that they are expecting a child, which sparks an idea in the heroine's mind. She immediately asks her friend for more information about them and requests a photo of both individuals. As they continue their conversation, her friend mentions that there is no signal on her phone, which frustrates her. The heroine realizes that she needs to gather more details about everyone involved in this case: Sonia, the yoga teacher, actor, doctor, husband, and servant. She concludes that there must be a significant reason why Olivia invited them all together and is determined to uncover it. In the next scene, they have fixed the cell phone tower, so it seems there is a signal now. The heroine's friend sends a voice message with information about the governor. It has been many years since he had a child, and he has been trying to adopt a child for several years without success due to his wife's inability to conceive. The heroine is unaware that Olivia's husband is involved in this situation. The heroine gathers everyone together and suggests that they solve this game. After some time, she sends some photos to everyone. When she asks the yoga teacher for his real name, he replies that it is Naram. The heroine tells him that is the wrong answer. 5 years ago, Elisa passed away, and the heroine learns about her mother's identity. Elisa's mother was named Renata, and she had committed suicide due to complications during childbirth. The yoga teacher is Renata's brother, and his real name is Ramiro. This means Ramiro is Elisa's uncle. Ramiro sends proof of having admitted his sister to the hospital for childbirth to the heroine's friend. Additionally, the heroine mentions that there is a reason for Olivia having kept the death certificates of the deceased babies, including Elisa's death certificate, which states that Elisa died during childbirth. 5 years ago, Elisa's image appeared in every magazine after her passing. Seeing this raises doubts for Ramiro about whether this child resembles his sister. He wonders how this child could have been taken away from Olivia. Ramiro believes that by providing the death certificate of the child who was born alive, Olivia must have taken that child away. Ramiro has planned to take revenge on Olivia and Sonia due to their clash regarding their husbands. He used to work as a waiter in a restaurant but later transformed into a yoga teacher after learning yoga in India to impress Sonia. However, Sonia was not impressed by him at all. Ramiro had planned to expose Olivia by claiming that she had taken away the child born in the hospital under false pretenses. However, this plan did not go as expected because Olivia believed that no one would care about that child. She remained unaware of the fact that a fake death certificate had been issued for that child in the hospital. Olivia had suspected fraudulent activities happening at the hospital, which she had previously mentioned. This is why both Sonia and Ramiro are now involved in this situation, as they have come here for clarification regarding these matters. In the next scene, the heroine arrives at the matter at hand. The actor offers to help with the case and gives her a task. He casually enters the housekeeping lady's room and takes her ID card. The housekeeping lady is also a social worker involved with Olivia's husband's foundation. She had been present when Ramiro's sister was admitted to the hospital for childbirth, and she falsely claims that the child died. The heroine comments on how they are trying to find single mothers and deceive them. As the conversation unfolds, the housekeeping lady pulls out a gun, saying everyone should be afraid of it. The heroine reminds her that a gunshot was fired in the house recently. The smell of soap that the heroine noticed earlier is linked to the housekeeping lady. The heroine recalls overhearing a conversation between Olivia's husband and the housekeeping lady about something related to the hospital. The husband, who owns the hospital, is also a gynecologist for wealthy women. The housekeeping lady is using this connection to deceive single mothers about their children, claiming they were taken away by clients of her husband. This is how Elisa ended up with Olivia, as it seems they were running a business together. Now, it appears that the governor is also planning to use this same method for an adoption scheme. The heroine realizes that everyone has become aware of this scheme. Just then, police return from the city to continue their investigation. They casually ask about who shot at them, which shocks Ramiro. The inspector expresses disbelief that another shooting could have occurred. The assistant explains to the police that he was helping the heroine with her investigation. When asked who fired the gun, the heroine explains that it was Ramiro, who had come as a yoga teacher. The housekeeping lady knows this and thinks Ramiro might be involved in shooting her. She recalls that there was a secret passage in her cupboard leading to Ramiro's room, suggesting a connection between them. The housekeeping lady insists that she must stay in that room to protect herself from being shot at. She believes there is evidence linking all these events together. The heroine has evidence as well. She had turned on her camera pen while in Ramiro's room earlier. The housekeeping lady's actions were recorded when she came out of the cupboard and shot someone. This plan also involved Ramiro, who had distracted both the heroine and her assistant during this incident. It appears that both Olivia's husband and the housekeeping lady were involved in this conspiracy against Olivia. The heroine theorizes that Olivia may have committed suicide due to these pressures. She learned about Olivia's cancer diagnosis when she visited her cabin on the ship, where chemotherapy had been administered. The doctor confirms that Olivia had lung cancer and was suffering greatly. This raises suspicions for the police regarding any illegal activities involving Olivia's husband and the housekeeping lady. They suspect they might have reported Olivia's condition to cover up their own illegal business dealings. The heroine concludes that Olivia might have committed suicide because of all these factors, including being unable to cope with her illness while feeling betrayed by those around her. She believes that Olivia wanted to send out invitations for one last goodbye before leaving everyone behind. With no signal on their phones, they decide to use the servant as a means to fix the cell tower for communication with Olivia, since he had received an eye transplant from her previously. This connection leads them to think that perhaps Olivia had been fulfilling her last wishes through him all along. The servant had been half blind for a long time, and during the gap while the heroine was explaining everything, both the husband and the housekeeping lady managed to escape. Everyone saw this through the window as the housekeeping lady stumbled on the beach sand. Without helping them, the husband jumped off the ship. It is suspected that Olivia had placed explosives in the ship's engine, and the servant brought a remote control to the heroine. She instructed him to give the remote control to Ramiro to turn it on. Since Ramiro was affected by his family's troubles, he activated the remote, causing the ship's engine to explode. The husband jumped into the sea from the ship, and police arrested both him and the housekeeping lady. Olivia's message through the violet flowers indicated her love for her daughter Elisa, emphasizing justice for illegal activities conducted at the hospital by her husband, and a plea for freedom from cancer. In the climax, everyone bids farewell at Olivia's grave. The doctor asks the heroine if they are going back to the city again. He mentions that there is another truth to uncover in Olivia's case. Just then, the heroine's friend arrives with Olivia's autopsy report, revealing that an overdose of morphine led to Olivia's death. When asked about this, the doctor confirms that several years ago, while working at her husband's hospital, he had performed an operation on a pregnant woman who died during childbirth due to complications. To cover up this incident and protect his reputation, Olivia's husband paid a significant amount of money to keep him quiet. The doctor explains how he was convinced by Olivia to open a clinic that would benefit people. However, after all those years of helping her, she requested assistance from him when she was in pain due to her morphine dosage increasing without her knowledge. The heroine recalls seeing Olivia with a wig on while speaking with the doctor from above on the ship's top deck. As they discuss what to report to the police, the doctor expresses concern about discovering who killed his sister. The heroine questions what they should do if they find out who it was. She reflects on how Olivia always acted courageously for what she wanted. The story concludes with a sense of resolution as everyone prepares for their next steps after uncovering these truths.